This is not the man God creates in the book of Genesis. But now, thousands of years after the Bible was written, science has confirmed the essence of its story. There was one man whose DNA survives in every man on earth today. His Garden of Eden was likely East Africa. Other humans came before him, but only after him did we become truly modern. Scientific Adam unites all men today. From Bono to Nelson Mandela. From Tiger Woods to David Beckham. From Osama bin Laden to the Dalai Lama.
Effectively, we're all members of an extended family. We're all really cousins.
And some believe that's the message of Genesis, too.
Adam represents all of us, and that's what makes him important. Not Adam individually, but the fact that Adam is every individual. We are all Adam.
In finding scientific Adam, the Y chromosome has not just united all men. It has found common ground between the worlds of science.
All right, the overwhelming conclusion of anthropologists, in short, is that no physical features distinguishes any race. Not even a combination of traits that will do the job. We all descended from black people because humans evolved in Africa. The first people probably had dark skin. The white people of Europe descended from Africans who migrated north between 100,000 and 200,000 years ago and lost their coloring. Now remember, I pointed this out before biblically. Remember, we talked about Adam and Eve. Remember, we talked about the Garden of Eden. And we found out geographically where it was located. Now that's the Bible, and it was located where? In Africa. Ethiopia is in Africa. Egypt is in Africa, on the continent of Africa. Is that correct? Now here we're reading not from Christians per se, not from theologians per se. Now we're reading from scientists, and the scientists are more in line with the Bible than so-called Christians. Because they try to make everything and everybody white. I didn't say 85. I didn't say 1985. I didn't say 1895. I said 1995, present tense. Day or two ago. In the book, The History and Geography of Human Genes, by population geneticist Luca Cavalli Sforza and Paolo Minonzi and Alberto Piazza, points out that the same map, in combination with the fossil record, confirms that Africa was the birthplace of humanity and thus the starting point of the original human migration. Those findings, plus the great genetic distance between present-day Africans and non-Africans, indicates that the split from the African branch is the oldest on the human family tree.
Now it's time for a brief history of the United States of America. Hi, boys and girls, ready to get started? Once upon a time, there were these people in Europe called pilgrims, and they were afraid of being persecuted. So they all got in a boat and sailed to the New World where they wouldn't have to be scared ever again.
Oh, I'm so relaxed. I feel so much safer.
But as soon as they arrived, they were greeted by savages, and they got scared all over again. So they killed them all. Now, you'd think wiping out a race of people would calm them down, but no. Instead, they started getting frightened of each other. Witch! So they burned witches. In 1775, they started killing the British so they could be free. And it worked. But they still didn't feel safe. So they passed a Second Amendment which said every white man could keep his gun. I loves my gun. Loves my gun. Which brings us to the genius idea of slavery. You see, boys and girls, the white people back then were also afraid of doing any work. So they went to Africa, kidnapped thousands of black people, brought them back to America, and forced them to work very hard for no money. And I don't don't mean no money like I work at Walmart and make no money. I mean $0. Nothing. Not a zip. Doing it that way made the USA the richest country in the world. So did having all that money and free help calm the white people down? No way. They got even more afraid. That's because after 200 years of slavery, the black people now outnumbered the white people in many parts of the South. Well, you can pretty much guess what came next. The slaves started rebelling. There were uprisings. And old Master, their heads got chopped off. And when white people heard of this, they were freaking out and going, I want to live. Don't kill me, big black man. Well, just in the nick of time came Samuel Coe, who in 1836 invented the first weapon ever that could be fired over and over without having to reload. And all the Southern whites were like, yeah! But it was too late. The North soon won the Civil War and the slaves were freed. Yep, they were free now to go chop all the old masters' heads off. And everybody was like, oh no, we're gonna die. But the freed slaves took no revenge. They just wanted to live in peace. But you couldn't convince the white people of this. So they formed the Ku Klux Klan. And in 1871, the same year the Klan became an illegal terrorist organization, another group was founded, the National Rifle Association. Soon politicians passed one of the first gun laws, making it illegal for any black person to own one. It was a great year for America, the KKK and the NRA. Of course, they had nothing to do with each other, and this was just a coincidence. One group legally promoted responsible gun ownership, and the other group shot and lynched black people. And that's the way it was all the way to 1955, when a black woman broke the law by refusing to move to the back of the bus. White people just couldn't believe it.
Well, I won't say no.
What's going on? Man, all hell broke loose. Black people everywhere started demanding their rights, and white people had a major freaky fear meltdown, and they were all like, run away! Run away! And they did. They all ran flee into the suburbs where it was all white and safe and clean. And they went out and bought 250 million guns and put locks on the doors, alarms in the houses, and gates around the neighborhoods. And finally, they were all safe and secure and snug as a bug. And everyone lived happily ever after.
Wow.
Yes, I did. Yeah. And
First, we'll start off with identifying some Euro myths involved in the terminology of this land. America. The term America, according to U.S. history, was supposedly taken from the Italian navigator Amerigo Vespucci. The truth is, the term is a two-part word. Amer, taken from the French word more, which were the inhabitants of West Africa, Morocco, and Mali. These Africans were also referred to as Mer, Moor, or Morenos in Spain to mean black. The term Moor is the root word of the Latin term amor, or the French word amour, or the Italian term amore, which means beloved, and was the term used in reference to the Moroccan kings who sailed via Spain and became religious leaders of the Vatican. The original Vatican priesthood was African. Catholic equals cat, holistic or holy cat of Egyptian symbolism, symbolized by the Sphinx. The Moroccan priesthood oversaw the papal government. The term Rika derived from the Middle English word reek to mean power realm. Power was determined by bloodlines and by wealth. Thus the term rich or Reich, and referred to the Moroccans, the wealthy Moroccans that was depicted in the films Casablanca and The King and I. The term American literally refers to the early inhabitants of this land who wore gold in their noses.